Hello, my friends. Welcome back to yet another interesting activity from the YByte Python curriculum available at www.ybyte.in. This activity, which we call as Sports Heroes, is dedicated to the amazing individuals that perform, that become champions in sports. Every sports creates champions and heroes. These amazing individuals and teams inspire us through their hard work, determination, practice, and they also, bring glories to the communities, the countries that they live in. And understandably, hence they have a lot of fan following. Like I said, this activity is dedicated to such sporting heroes, and it's kind of like a mark of love and admiration for them. However, you might wonder, where do these sports heroes feature in a program that teaches Python? Well, the fact is that sports also generates a lot of data which can be analyzed from different angles. In fact, these days, performance of every top player is closely analyzed. Teams study this for competitive reasons. People study them, for, let's say, understanding how different teams perform against each other, how players play against each other. A lot of such analysis is done for different sports these days, which, in fact, again, make us more engaged to the sport, make us realize how great some of these players really are, and also gives us a perspective to appreciate some of the data and, let's say, understand the games much better. So this is something that really engages all of us. In fact, this is what we will be doing in this project. We will be looking at winners of a certain tournament, let's say over the years, and try to gain some additional insights compared to what the raw data provides. So for the purpose of this project, we will look at tennis, and specifically we will look at two very, very important tournaments from the tennis world, which is one of the two Grand Slams, the Wimbledon and the French Open. Basically, we look at all the winners in these tournaments in the men's singles categories from 1968 onwards and do some analysis of the data. But needless to say that tennis is just an example. In fact, the insights that we draw, the concepts that we use can be used to analyze any kind of sport that you like. So let's see what we will do in this project. Well, like I said, we'll start with some raw data. For example, I have here winners of the Wimbledon tournament from, let's say, 1968 onwards. So it lists down the year, country, and champion. Now, mind you, in 2020, unfortunate events happened in the world, and that's why there was no Wimbledon. So I've removed that, entry from the list here. We also have the data similarly for the French Open. Now we take this raw data and we run our Python analysis on this to come up with several insights and analysis. For example, it tells me that, look, in this intervening time from 1968 to now, there have been 56 total tournaments and 22 people have won this. So obviously it means that people have won, some sports person have won this more than once. And then we create a table here. It tells me, okay, this player won it, for example, once, twice. See Novak Djokovic, has won it 7 times, and it tells us also in which years. So notice this particular information is something that we are extracting from the raw data. It's there in the raw data, but it takes, let's say, some effort to get it. And that's what we'll be doing in this project. Roger Federer has won this 8 times, and in those years. In fact, you can do a lot more analysis with this. We do the same thing for the French Open, and so clearly Rafael Nadal, having won 14 times, really, really stands out. And then we go on to do a little bit more analysis. For example, who are the people, amazing sports person who have won, let's say, both Wimbledon and French Open, who have won one but not both, who have won, let's say, only Wimbledon, not French Open, only French Open, not Wimbledon. Like I said, this is really just touching the tip of the iceberg. In fact, with the methods that we learn, you can do a lot more analysis and make it really something that is, quite insightful to, let's say, whatever whatever sport you like. This can be customized to any sport. The kind of analysis being done can be definitely, let's say, built further on. Now, before wrapping this up, let's briefly look at the learning goals from this activity. First and foremost, we learn about this very interesting collection called a set in Python. We'll see what are sets, how do we create and use sets, and what makes them special, let's say, compared to lists, tuples, and dictionaries. So we have learned about lists, we learned about tuples, we learned about dictionaries. We'll see how in this, let's say, taxonomy, where does this whole thing of set come in, and why it is useful, for example, in this project. Remember, the analysis data was being put in a text file, as I was just showing you. We will do file IO to see how we can capture the results in a text file. And then, like I said, we will learn about the basic operations on sets. For example, finding membership, notion of superset, subset, union, intersection, difference, symmetric difference, and so on. And obviously, building something like this is a lot of practice in programming, because we also use other data structures, for example, dictionaries, lists of dictionaries, and so on. In fact, this project is quite a lot of programming, but it's quite interesting because it's related to something that we are very well, let's say, inspired by, which, like I said, are the sports heroes. So in the next few videos, we are going to develop this in a very, very step by step manner, like we always do. And we'll see how all of this comes together and we learn a good deal of Python while doing something that we really, really feel inspired with. Now, clearly, this is a very, very unique way to learn Python. We are going to be looking at some real data out there, something that interests us, and run all this analysis, to learn these concepts in a very lively manner. Look at our website, because that is how we learn Python programming, by building fun activities and thinking through them in a logical, structured manner. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.